Well, good morning, everyone. Welcome again. Question and Answer Friday. Hope you're having a wonderful day. And we'll get started in a moment or so, but we always like to say hello, do our roll call. People seem to appreciate it. Ruby, we appreciate you coming on. Faye, good morning. Francis Marie, Rosalinda, Niagara Falls, good morning to you. Jen from Cape Breton, Adeline. And guys, we get you from coast to coast, Canada, the US, Nativity, the Netherlands. Well, Nativity's not from the Netherlands, but John is from Francine, from Wendy, Mary, Erica, just coming so fast now. Zian and Jean, dear friends. Nick from our staff. Sharon, Cindy, good morning. Debbie, I was going to say, people come from all over. That's what I meant to say. Jane, good morning. Karen. Micheline, how is you? Elaine. And Kevin, good morning. Oshawa. Sandy, much appreciated. Jean. And Maggie. Sudbury. Janet, good morning. Georgie, Halifax. Catherine. Parksville, British Columbia. James. Annette, good morning. Carol, Newfoundland. Wanda, Virginia. And Jasia. I think it's the first time I've seen that. Good morning, Deb. How are you? Detroit, Michigan. Phyllis, I missed somebody back there. Louise, New Brunswick, Nouveau Brunswick. Fran, Orangeville. Alicia, South Carolina. Well, good morning, South Carolina. Faye, Amelia, Mary, Henry, how are you? Another Elaine, Donna, Alicia, Judy, and Debbie, good morning, New Brunswick. Teresa from Mississauga. Lynn, good morning. Fran. Okay, a couple of more. And Betty from Tiny Beaches. Nicole, good morning. Maria. And Wendy from Markham. Good morning. Bonnie, how is you? Donna from Park Hill. And Helga. Alice, how are you? Kapuskasing, right near Santa Claus. Angèle, Sturgeon Falls. Joan, Yolande, I was waiting for you, Yolande. Bernadita, Huguette, Earlton, good morning, Huguette. And Maria, Etta, Mary, and Sharon. Okay, two more, Sue, and Maria. Good morning, guys. Okay, let's get to our questions. First one this morning, Donna. Questions or thoughts on costochondritis? No fun. Inflammation. Intercostal muscles. Very painful. Hard to diagnose oftentimes, and even more so difficult to treat. I used to palpate. So if someone said, I got a pain there, like, you know, around the breastbone or right where the ribs attach into the sternum or whatever, I used to put my finger on the bobo with no fun. But at least you could diagnose it. Say, yeah, you got a real inflammation. I used to love giving inflammation formula for that. It can happen, can be very painful and very difficult to treat, because what are you going to put on it? It's, you know, you can't, you know, immobilize the area. It's not like you got a sore elbow, whatever, you can put a brace on it. But when the ribs, where the rib attaches into the spine or into the sternum, not easy to immobilize the area. But I actually like just getting right on the bobo and working it, and inflammation formula. I would do a high dose of that for 3 days, and then you can level it off, but a very high dose just to get that inflammation out of there, okay? And that was a diagnosis from a studying doctor. Okay, well, good for your studying doctor. Judy, I would like to know what Dr. Martin likes. I'm assuming, Judy, you mean numbers for cholesterol, HDL, LDL, triglycerides, and A1C. Okay, but I'm going to eliminate a couple right off the gate, okay? I don't care about your cholesterol numbers. I really don't, okay? And I don't mean that, Judy, personally, because I'm teasing you to some extent, but I'm telling you what I look at. You can send me all the blood work in the world, pages and pages of it, and I'm a focuser. I get into things that I'm really interested in. And yep, I'm interested in your triglycerides. Yep, I'm interested in your HDL. And as far as lipids go, okay, and there's a reason for it. And the reason is this. What is dangerous? What is part of metabolic syndrome? What is controlled by food? Not cholesterol, not LDL. And the reason they talk about LDL all the time, the LDL is the boogeyman. Oh, you know, doctors go crazy when you got high LDL, but they've been poorly trained. And that is because the pharmaceutical industry has hijacked, by and large, medical schools. And because they have a drug that can lower your LDL, that's why LDL, doctors go crazy when they see high LDL, because it's their training. They sort of forget their biochemistry. And what I like to focus in on, because it's really what's important when it comes to your lipid profile, are two things. One, triglycerides, 3 fat balls that are made in your liver. When the parking lot is full, when the Costco parking lot doesn't have any more room, what does your body do? It forms triglycerides, fat balls. And by the way, the Costco parking lot got full because you were eating too much sugar and too much crappy carbohydrates that turn to sugar rapidly and are stored as fat in your liver. Non-alcoholic fatty liver. And what happens in the liver, unfortunately, does not stay in the liver. It gets sent into the bloodstream. So, if you have high triglycerides, I'm not going to give you a number in per se, Donna. I'm going to tell, Judy, I want to give you ranges. Here's when you know you're in good shape. When your HDL, high density lipoprotein, is higher than your triglycerides. That's when you're in good shape. You got more. Remember what HDL is, and so is LDL. They're in the bloodstream. Why? Because they're carriers. They hitch their wagons to triglycerides. They carry your hormones. And they take back those bad triglycerides They bring them back to your liver so your liver can metabolize them. So triglycerides, 3 fat balls, are what's dangerous. Very dangerous. And triglycerides are elevated by bad food, not by steak, not by eggs, not by meat, not by fish, and not by cheese. Triglycerides are made from sugar and crappy carbohydrates. Got it? And you want, look, some people will say women should be under 1. I'm bigger on that ratio. Like women should have lower triglycerides than men. Not by that much, but it's again, don't send me blood work. Because 2 people did it this week. They looked at their blood work and they sent it to me or to my staff in an email or whatever, and they didn't include the triglycerides. Or, in one case, they didn't include HDL. They were showing me total cholesterol. They were showing me LDL. I don't care. And you can't make me care. Can I, folks, you've been following me for years, okay? So let's say, in my Northern Ontario radio show days, 20 years. Podcasts. Lots of years. I've been consistent. Cholesterol, my friend, is a scam. It's not the boogeyman. It's like the blame game. I'm not actually writing a chapter in my new book, The Blame Game. Blaming LDL for heart disease. Well, if that was true, we would have got rid of heart disease by now. By taking statin drugs. Okay? So all I'm saying is, when I look at your blood work, I want to see that ratio. And your HDL better be higher than your triglycerides. The more FedEx trucks you have on the highways, the more Amazon trucks you have on the highways, the more whatever, U.S. Postal Service or Canada Post trucks or whatever, UPS, you name it. All I'm saying is, the more you have on the highways, your HDL, the better shape you're in. Because they hitch their wagon to bad fats, which are called triglycerides. 3 triglycerides, fat balls. Got it? Okay. And I like A1C. Why? Because A1C, I find, one of the best markers for insulin resistance. If it's 5.4 and up, you can bet your dollars to donuts that you have insulin resistance. You're on the Titanic. Time to change your diet. You see, again, understand the overarching principles. The overarching principles. Big food don't care about you. They never have and never will. They want customers. They don't care about you. And they'll couch their sugars and, like even keto foods and all that. You gotta be very careful with that stuff, in my opinion. Okay? And, because big food don't care about you. There's 10 or 11 companies and they own the whole shooting works of food and the food industry. It's very profitable. And medicine, because of big pharma, they don't know anything about nutrition. They don't teach it. They have a whole class in the healthcare field called dietitians. Came out of the pharmaceutical, came out of the medical system. Said, well, we don't want to learn anything about food. Food's not important. Therefore, we'll give it off to dietitians. I'm serious, guys. That's exactly what happened. Brought to you by Kellogg's. And they got it all wrong. You eat the food pyramid, you know, and if you do, you'll look like the food pyramid. Plus, your triglycerides are going to go through the roof, and your HDL is not going to be high enough. Most people have it upside down. They got high triglycerides and low HDL. That's what happens when you don't eat properly. That's why I'm so big on getting to eating what God wanted you to eat. He gave you a gallbladder. Cows don't have gallbladders. They got 4 stomachs. And when you eat grass, you better have 4 stomachs. Let the cows be the vegetarians so that we can eat the meat. Now that's science. Oh, okay, I get uptight. Okay, Jack and Sherry. Can atherosclerosis or hardening of the arteries be reversed with diet? Well, listen. Okay, listen. It depends on how advanced it is. Okay? And it's amazing how your body can regenerate. It's amazing. And when you implement different fuel into your body, from your brain to your toes, things get better, including your blood vessels. Now, if you have plaque forming, hardening of the arteries, atherosclerosis, I've seen that really improve. Get rid of all of it? It depends. It depends. But that's not the point. The point is to improve. The point is to make sure it's not getting any worse. You know? See this face? No matter what I do, I'm going to age. Okay? If you don't believe in aging, well, you're fooling yourself, okay? It's part of rusting out. It's, you know, that happens to the best of us, okay? Now, you can slow the process down. You can help. And even that plaque, one of the things that causes hardening of the arteries is when people insist on taking calcium. See, think about this for a minute. When God gives you calcium, okay, doesn't give it to you in a capsule. He wants you to eat it. Okay? And calcium, when it's in nature, in the animal world, eggs, meat, cheese, butter. What happens? Well, calcium's in there. Those are real high sources of calcium. Do you know that steak is a high source of calcium? It is. But it has vitamin K2 in it. That is God's nature. That's why when you're getting your calcium, it's going to be taken out of your blood, because that's not where you need a little calcium in your blood. But it doesn't belong there. Primarily, it's meant for your bones. And that's what vitamin K2 does. That's what's so good for your heart, vitamin K2, because it decalcifies. Why do you think we put vitamin K2 in with our vitamin D? It decalcifies. Okay? Got it? Got the memo? Thanks for those wonderful questions. Okay, I got to get back on my laptop here. Okay, Cecile, does adding bone broth to my coffee end intermittent fasting? Yes and no. Cecile, it's a good question. If you want to be religious about it, then you could have black coffee and nothing else. If you want to be religious. You know what I mean by that? If you want to be, I'm doing intermittent fasting and there's going to be absolutely no food. But here's me. Here's me. If you're not using insulin, you're doing intermittent fasting. Okay? So, if you have a little bit of cream in your coffee, or you have bone broth in your coffee, technically, it's taking you out of the fasting state. But the benefits of the intermittent fasting are going on. I can tell you that with all certainty. If you want to be religious about it and follow the rules 1,000,000% to intermittent fasting, then you got to have coffee black. Okay? But I don't have any trouble with putting bone broth in, because you're not using your pancreas to release a lot of insulin. There's a little bit, there's a touch, enough for a mouse, but it's not going to take you out of that fasting state where your body is really healing. And so, no. And I love coffee. So drink your coffee. Now, I drink mine black. Okay? I have for years and years and years. Don't bring me a coffee with cream. I won't drink it. That's me. Okay? But some people need cream. My wife likes cream. Okay? And I feel sorry for her, but hey. Okay? No. Good question, Cecile. Okay? Good question. And let me answer another question. Okay? Because I saw this last night. Well, Dr. Martin, every time I go to the grocery store and I look for bacon, it always has a little bit of sugar in it, and I won't eat it. Don't do that to yourself, okay? Now look, if you can find, and there are, bacons that have no sugar at it at all, well then go for it. Even better. But when I give you a plan to succeed, not to fail, that is my overarching principle when it comes to the reset. It's why I allow, somebody asked me the other day, what about sour cream? Why do you allow that? Well, because I'm trying to give you incentive to keep going. It's like if you want to be and I want you to read labels. Part of my job is to make you understand labels. And I want you to read them. For sure, for sure. So be the label police. Be the detectives in the grocery stores. Don't let the food companies fool you. But bacon is still good for you, even if they, added, a gram of sugar or whatever. Okay? because the benefits of that far outweigh. And I want you to win the battle. I want you to, if you see bacon on sale, go get it. Because you will succeed. You will succeed if you do the reset. Now, for those of you that can find bacon and can afford, the purest, organic, or whatever, then go for it. Well, for sure, go for it. And I applaud you guys too. But remember where I come from. I'm a general. I talk to, we're up to 1 million downloads. Over. I want to talk to people that never came to my clinic and never knew me from a hole in the ground before. And they hear me talking, and I say, well, I want you to succeed. Because if you do the reset for 30 days, why don't we all join Wendy on September 1st? Let's do the reset. Actually, I did the reset this week. I just gotta, every once in a while, I'll do a week for me. Just to get myself back on track. Okay? Because, summer, anyway. My name is Tony, and I'm a carboholic, and I got to get back on track. And I got back on track. Okay? But I want you to win, guys. The idea is winning at the end. Okay. Good question, Cecile. Joyce, pseudogout. Well, pseudogout is different than gout. I believe it's an autoimmune disorder, and this is when you don't have uric acid crystals in your joint, you have calcium crystals in your joint. Pseudogout. I'm big on any autoimmune, start with the gut, leaky joints. And it can be very painful. Calcium, sitting in calcium crystals sitting in joints, pseudogout. It's rare compared to gout. At the end of the day, gout or pseudogout, okay? Change your diet. Get rid of sugar. Get rid of fructose. Drink lots of water. Your kidneys are Niagara Falls, and this is where it happens, when the kidneys are not filtering out. Pseudogout, in my opinion, can be from oxalates, calcium crystals, that often love kidney stones are 75%. The other 25% are uric acid. Filter those kidneys. Drink a lot of water. Don't drink fruit. Don't ever drink fruit. Okay. Thank you very much for the question. Patricia, why should we take B12 with a meal? Well, who said that? You don't have to take B12 with a meal. It's not a fat-soluble vitamin. Okay, now, you can take B12 in a shot. You can take it in, as a vitamin and swallow it. I don't recommend that. Or you can take it in a lozenge, like we have. To me, the most effective. And always read your labels when it comes to B12. Make sure it's methyl, cobalamin, methyl, because that's the one your body absorbs. And why does your mouth turn red? Because we put a little flavor in it. Okay? So that you will... I'm a big baby, by the way, okay? Did you guys know that? Well, you know what? I like a little flavor. If I'm going to put a lozenge in my mouth, it's all natural. Let it melt in your mouth, okay? That's the best way to top up your B12 levels, but you don't have to take it with a meal. As a matter of fact, you would take it separate from a meal in a sense, because you got to let it dissolve in your mouth. You don't want to swallow it. If you swallow B12, you're not getting B12. Why? Well, B12 is a big vitamin. And a lot of people, any drug, any digestive issue, and you're not even absorbing B12. Okay? So, B12 is finicky. It's a very finicky vitamin, and most people are very low in it because they don't eat enough steak. Tracy, I have taken probiotics in the past with an enteric coating. Dr. Martens are not. Yeah, but Dr. Martens are the best, Tracy. Okay? Now, you would say to me, come on. You're advertising. Tracy? Well, I am, but I'm telling you the truth. The quality is the key. Our strains go past the stomach. How do we know it? Because they've been tested. It's why we're finicky people. Remember, with me, I've been talking probiotics for over 40 years. When people didn't even know what I was talking about, I was telling people they needed bacteria. What? Yeah, you need good guys on your side. I talked about yeast, fungus, leaky gut when people didn't even know what I was talking about. Like I had two heads. And sometimes they still think I do. The question, Tracy, is you're right. Most cheap probiotics, they can't get past the stomach acidity. But ours do. And the proof in the pudding is the results we get with probiotics. Unbelievable. Now, we went years ago at the Martin Clinic from taking probiotics at least twice a year. And we changed our minds because of the world that we live in. Remember what I was saying earlier this week, or was it last week? We eat a credit card size full of plastic every day. Every day, 7 days a week. We eat plastic. It's in the food. It's in our environment. It's in everything. You need probiotics. And our diets are made to feed yeast. And yeast hates steak, but most people don't eat enough of it. Yeast hates eggs, but most people don't eat enough of them. Yeast hates cheese, and most people don't eat enough of that. And a broad spectrum chosen, Tracy, by the Martin Clinic. Every one of those strains, you think our manufacturer likes us? Hates our guts. Because we're very specific. That's why during the lockdown and the virus, it was very difficult for us. It was difficult for a lot of people, but for us, just to get our product was almost impossible. And Tracy, I was not going to compromise. I said, we'll go without until you get exactly our formula. And because we don't want cheap probiotics. We just don't. You can get them. You can get them. But you won't get them from the Martin Clinic. I'm sorry. We won't do it. Okay? We won't do it. Good question, Tracy. We appreciate it. Okay? We can take it. Give us tough questions. Cheryl, xanthelasma. Ooh, big word. You know what that is? It's lipid deposits, cholesterol deposits around the eyelids. They call it, give it to medicine. Why don't they just call it deposits? But no, they have to call it xanthelasma. Ooh. I remember the nuns used to tell me, you need Latin to go to medical school. Why? I hated Latin. Well, yeah, but you're going to get big words. Oh, and they're all Latin. Oh, leave it to medicine to give you big words. So when you have lipid, look, that can be a genetic thing. Usually you're missing the enzyme lipase. Your body not making it. And so I would take a digestive enzyme, lipase. Look at our digestive enzymes. Lipase, amylase, protease. I love digestive enzymes. Your body makes them, but when you get older and you got digestive issues and you got pancreatic issues because you're a sugarholic, and you know, one side of your pancreas makes enzymes and the other one makes insulin. Now we got big problems in both areas in our digestive tract. Believe you me when I tell you that. Good question, Cheryl. Donna, how about kombucha? Well, I like it. Well, I don't like the taste of it. Look, read your labels. Read your labels. Okay? And make sure they're not adding any sugar. Okay? But I like fermented foods. I like pickles because they're fermented. Give you good, friendly bacteria. They're not therapeutic in this sense. They're just not going to give you a broad spectrum probiotic. And therapeutically, the advancements in medicine, in making wonderful, I say medicine, in the manufacturing world of making probiotics, there's nothing like broad spectrum probiotics because they're more therapeutic. But do I like fermented foods, even yogurt, homemade? Yep, I like it. I do. Very much. Oh, Donna's saying I'm a pre-diabetic. Well, you be careful. Read the labels. Be a label detective. You gotta be. No sugars. Honey. Celine. What are the causes of the body inability to maintain a normal body temperature, going from extreme hot to taking forever to cool down? Well, look, the primary organ for that is your thyroid. Your thyroid controls body temperature. Well, you got to go up into the brain. The hypothalamus sends, thyroid stimulating hormone, but your thyroid is your gas pedal. Your thyroid is your thermostat. Your thyroid is so important. It's a little organ, but like I always say, Celine, always say this, that thyroid has a lot of strings attached. The reason that women, especially, and I talked about that earlier this week, that fall through the cracks with hormones is because doctors don't think holistically. They think, oh, thyroid, your body temperature. I mean, they know that. And then they check it, and the lab hijacks their thinking. Oh, your TSH seems to be just fine. I know, but not. I'm heating up like a lobster. I'm sweating. I'm getting hot flashes. Well, those are hormones. Thyroid's involved. But it's not often, it's not always the what you think it is, because sometimes you got strings attached, like too much estrogen. You got to look at all that. Not enough progesterone. You're out of balance. That's this kind of stuff that I would look for. That's the kind of stuff that I used to test for. Okay? Good question, Celine. So check thyroid function. And depending, Celine, how old you are and all that, I need all that information to give you more information, because it depends what age you are. But, you know, that's hormones. That's a common symptom. Susanna, what's the best way to form or build muscle for seniors? Weights. Weight resistance. Bands. Resistant bands. You don't got to spend a lot of money. Don't spend a lot of money. You don't have to. You can get strong. Do resistant exercises. Do push-ups. If you can do push-ups, good for you. Lift your own weight. Kettlebells. I love them. Barbells. I love them. They don't have to be heavy. Do a work on these puppies here. See these puppies? I always tell my grandchildren, okay? Hey, I gotta get a permit for these guns, okay? And of course I tease them. They got bigger guns than me. But I try and stay strong, guys, because I understand sun, steak, and steel. But you can use bands. You know, those stretching bands with more resistance to them. That stuff's the best. It's good for you. Barbells. You don't have to spend a lot of money. Kettlebell. I like that. Tremendous. Okay? Susanna, thank you. Oh, gee, I got a lot more questions. Better get going. Okay. I'm talking way too long here. Does ashwagandha, as in the cortisol control, help to increase GABA? Yep. Look, and don't take GABA on its own. I'm not big on these things on their own. I like ashwagandha. If you guys don't know that, then you haven't seen the supplements. I love ashwagandha. Tremendous anti-inflammatory, tremendous mood restorer. Really helps with sleep and getting into a good REM sleep. But I rarely do use these things on their own. I'd rather I'm a combination guy. Putting stuff together, synergistic. They work together to make things better, okay? But I like it, and it will increase your GABA. Okay. Lynn, how does Navitol work? Well, look, there's a lot of ways. We can send you an email or emails that we've written on how Navitol is unique, a pine bark extract. It's sort of our flagship product. We've been using it for well over 30 years. What a tremendous product it is, because it's a powerful antioxidant. It's a powerful anti-inflammatory. It's a powerful accelerator of glutathione. It elevates your glutathione, which is Velcro, which is your body's great antioxidant and detoxer. It crosses the blood-brain barrier. It brings extra blood supply. It's one of the best things you can do for your blood supply. Because it increases blood supply to your brain, to your joints. It's so good for the vascular system. So many people are taking it for heart and brain and joints and skin. It's one of the greatest skin products. And remember with me in skin and anti-aging, start inside out. Inside out. Okay. We actually have our Navitol in our skin cream, skin gel, Rivera. Okay, pine bark. Love it. Deborah, what would cause your face to swell? Puffy around the eyes plus rash around the hairline. Could be yeast. Could be a fungal. Could be a lot of things. Could be edema. And, always, you got to watch for an autoimmune, lupus, and things like that. Thyroid. There's a lot of things, Deborah, that I would be looking for. Okay? So, those are some of them. Donna, does wild game meat have CoQ10? Well, it elevates your CoQ10. Your body, you see, CoQ10 is something your body makes. But when you eat meat, you elevate your CoQ10. That's why I'm so big on meat. And yes, wild meat has, especially the organs, you increase your levels of CoQ10 for sure. Why do you think I want you to eat meat? Because that's how you elevate CoQ10. And, CoQ10 is something your body makes. It's an antioxidant. But as you get older, and especially if you're on statin drugs, your CoQ10 levels sink like the Titanic. And that's why I'm a big guy on meat. And you don't get CoQ10 going up when you eat vegetables. I'm sorry. Doesn't happen. I'm not saying don't eat vegetables. I'm just telling you, don't do it for CoQ10. Okay? Francis, good question. Good question, Donna. Thanks. Francis, last question. Is it? Yeah. I've recently heard a term called eating 80-20, where some people eat 80% of their food from fat and 20% from protein. Is this the same as reset? Nope. The reset is simple. It's eggs. Okay? It's meat. It's cheese. Okay? That's what it is. Okay? It's back to the farm. And in nature, the best thing to do is when protein, the king of the castle, and fat, saturated fat, animal fat, is put together. And you eat it. So when you eat meat, you're eating protein, okay, and fat. Now there's less fat in chicken, but you should be eating the fat. Eat the skin. I know. And, but that's not 80-20. It's 100-100. You're eating 100% protein and 100% fat. The way it's supposed to be. Okay? It's 100-100. Good question, though. Francis, I like you guys. You're thinking. Okay, guys. Thanks for the questions today. We had a ball. Okay, at least I did. And we appreciate it. And we're going to have a great week next week coming up. And have I told you lately that I love you? I probably haven't, right? Well, since yesterday. Well, I do. And I mean it. And we'll talk to you soon.